doing, Landon?
Hey, good. How y'all doing?
Turner, you want to get us started with Mr. Turner?
Landon, you know that Georgia Tech is going to put up points or try to, and how they run their offense. Your defense won't seem much like them. So is there pressure on the offense to get off to a fast start or a faster start than maybe you have been?
There definitely is. You know, with this team coming up or playing, they're gonna control the clock. We'll be lucky if we have 8 possessions, so we have to make the most of the opportunities that they're going to give us for sure.
What can you learn from a clock controlling offense like that? You guys want to go fast and score, but they're going to want to hold the ball. What does that mean for you as an offense?
That means we got to start fast and start early. You know, with those kind of teams, when they want to control the clock, they're not really built to come from behind. So when we get the ball, we need to make sure that we're taking advantage of our opportunities and start to get up and put pressure on their offense, and not the other way around with them putting pressure on the clock for us.
Coach Lord mentioned that you guys went to a silent count on Saturday. Can you kind of take us through that, how that's different from what you were doing before and how that changes things for you guys up front, if at all?
Well, the center controls the silent count so that the offensive line can hear out the wide receivers and everyone else goes off the motion of the ball. So it's really just for us so that if things get loud, we don't have to count on the quarterback's cadence getting drowned out. And it's really simple as that.
He said it worked. Things were a little bit smoother and cleaner. Why do you think that's so?
I was just saying it's more efficient for the offensive line to hear it coming from the center than it is from the back. I think it's more efficient for them. He's got less to worry about because the center's controlling the cadence.
So you prefer that now?
Yeah. I mean, it's apples and oranges. Really, it's just a little different way. I think either way works just fine for me. You can ask the center that he might not like it as much because he got to have his head down a little bit more. But
Did it kind of work in a way also because you had 2 different quarterbacks, and so?
you know, maybe. I think you'd have to ask them personally because I don't know what it's like back there. I've never played quarterback.
Really?
Yeah, believe it or not.
You run the option.
Yeah. I mean, I'll probably be pretty good at it, I think, but
You're hard to bring down.
something like that.
Do you anticipate doing that at Georgia Tech? Because it will be loud down there in Atlanta.
Yeah, I think so. I think we need to be prepared for that. I think we're kind of unprepared for that in South Carolina game. I think we learned from that and kind of try to start a week early, is getting guys comfortable with it because it's something different that we don't always do. So,
Landon, Marquise got pulled from Mitch in the last game. He's listed as the starter this week. What are you expecting to see out of him going in?
you know, I expect to see the same thing. You know, same preparation. Marquise is a 5th-year guy, just like me. He's a veteran. He's experienced. He knows how to approach each game. I don't expect to see anything different on how he approaches this game. I think he's going to prepare as hard as he has for any other game, and I'm expecting big numbers out of him.
Yep. And back in Saturday's game, when Mitch came in, was there any sort of was it a smooth transition, you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think just, you know, Marquise and Mitch, they both worked really hard to prepare well for the game. I think that Mitch is just really bought in that if he needs to step up and play, he's going to be ready to do that. And that's just a testament to his preparation. You know, for us, it really doesn't make a difference up front because, and especially since we had the cadence, the only thing that would have been different would be the voice. Other than that, we still have our own job to do. So.
You guys don't huddle, but there's still a leadership role for the quarterback out there, especially getting everybody up and ready to go. How did Mitch do with that, especially compared to last year where sometimes he was a little bit shaky?
You know, I think Mitch has come a long way. You know, he worked really hard in the offseason. You know, he's definitely done a great job preparing himself mentally and improving as a quarterback. I think he's definitely shown more in tune. You can always get better. I think he's going to be looking at his performance and critiquing that this week. So if we need him to play again, he'll be ready to go.
Yeah. And what does that do to you guys if something happens to Marquise or he's not playing well or he gets hurt, to have a guy like Mitch to come in and sort of not losing a step?
Yeah, that's big. Yeah, that's big. It shows a lot of depth in that position, especially as crucial of a position as quarterback is. You know, I think those guys prepare really well, and I think they're always ready to play. And I appreciate that about them. We can rely on everyone in that quarterback's room, even down to Caleb Henderson. I think that they're all doing a really good job this season, and I'm happy to play with them and happy that they're back there.
You're facing a team that's kind of like a wounded animal coming off 2 straight losses. They obviously can't afford another loss in the conference, and they're back home. there's not going to be any lack of intensity on their part. Is that an extra challenge for you to bring it at the level that you're going to see from them?
Absolutely. You know, I know they're going to give us their best game, and that's going to require us to give our best game. I feel confident in everyone's ability to approach the game maturely and prepare properly because, you know, it's a big game. I know it's a big game for them, but it's a big game for us too. You know, it's our conference opener, and we want to start. It's a coastal division as well. We want to start off on the right foot.
Atlanta hasn't been good to you, to this program, long time. Does that factor into your thought process at all to maybe kind of end that frustration?
You know, maybe in that context, not really. I don't really think about it. You know, the past is the past. This season's different. Each season's always different. You know, like the game we played a couple years ago is going to be different than this game. There's different players and we got different approaches. And I think you can't really get hung up on the past when you're preparing for the future as far as results. You know, you can look back to the past and see what worked and what didn't work, but I don't think it should go any further than that.
How do you think Ferranto's doing, going from being a starter to kind of a swing back up to now starting with Bentley hurt?
Yeah, I'm really proud of John, you know, mentally throughout all the turmoil in training camp as far as getting hurt and working hard to come back. You know, he's never changed his outlook or his mindset. He's always continued to prepare, always ready to play, and I think that showed, you know, when Bentley going down, he was still able to come in and we didn't really lose much of step in my mind. So.
How did you guys grade up front with your conventional run blocking on Saturday, with the conventional runs to the backs?
You know, we were kind of disappointed. I think we didn't play, especially the first half, we didn't play up to our potential. You know, I think we weren't as in sync as we had been, you know, especially against Illinois and A&T. And I think that's something that we're going to be looking at this week, and we're going to make sure that we clean that up so that we can be all on the same page and play at our best as an offensive line this Saturday.
Human nature being what it is, did some of that have to do with the fact you played a second FCS? Maybe you guys, you knew it was looming this week, and think maybe that was a little bit of an impact?
Yeah, that is human nature. That could have been. You know, I think that we've come a long way as a team as far as maturity. I think we kind of showed that we still have some more work to be done at an angle because you know, we started slow. There's no getting around that, and I think that's coming out in the second half, playing the way we should have been. The first half, that's something that we're going to make sure can't happen again. You know, it'll be a lot easier in conference play, but even so, we got to make sure that we're continuing to strive for that perfection and being ready for every game and getting up for every game because every game is important, especially now.
Any questions?
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Yep, absolutely.